What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Underbuilt Garage. If you're new around here, hit that subscribe button. You might like what we got going on. This week, I'm sure as you've seen by the thumbnail and the title of this video, I am working on an 81 Camaro that has been sitting in a garage since 2000. That is 25 years, if my math is correct. But yeah, a little backstory on this car. A friend of mine, real good friend of mine, owns a tire shop here in town. I've talked about him before on this channel. His name's Zach. He owns the local tire shop here in this town. And he had come to me, I want to say midsummer, and said, hey, I found this car. Somebody come up here, yada, yada, yada. They're offering me this car. What do you think? Go look at it with me. Okay, so I did. And we went and looked at this car. I would say it was probably July-ish even. Anyways, we went and checked this thing out, and I told him, you really need to get a hold of that thing, this, that, and the other. Well, it was tied up in some probate stuff, yada, yada, yada. Anyways, he ended up getting it, obviously, and now it's here. And he wanted me to get it going for him, this, that, and the other. So, plan is, we're going to see if we can't get this thing running and driving, and see what it's all about. Now, this car holds some secrets that not even I knew about. I didn't even know you could get that option in these cars. I've never seen one, and I've never even heard that they was a thing. So we'll get into that here in a minute. But I've been under the car a little bit. The floors and underneath this car are still black and look amazing. As far as the paint, there's a few little blemishes around it here and there. We'll see what we can do with that. But first things first, I want to get this thing running and driving. Maybe we'll start inside the car, just take a look around inside of it, because like I said, this thing is beautiful. The gentleman who owned this thing before really took care of it. There is still wax and buffing compound in all the nooks and crannies, so you can tell this thing was taken care of. But yeah, let's hop on the inside of this thing and take a look around and just show you guys just how nice this thing really is. The only thing that I've got for it so far is what he left with me, and that's a battery. But starting with the door panel, this should just show you how nice this car really is. This is the battery that he ended up giving me. There is a rip here on the seat, little one here. But other than that, this car is untouched and in really, really good shape. Back seats look brand new. The Firebird emblem off of the windshield's falling, but that's no big deal. We'll just pull that off of there. She has 100,633 miles. She's got a tach. She is an automatic, which is an unfortunate thing, but that can all be changed, right? Did I tell you what year it was? It is 82, from what I have gathered. I have yet to be in the trunk. I think we got to get the battery in it to be able to pop that. We'll have to wait to pop the trunk until we get a battery in it. I don't think there's a keyhole. Oh, there is a keyhole. Let's see if the key works. Oh, we got a pretty cool Pontiac tag on there. And we do have a fuel door, or a fuel gas gauge cap, fuel cap. Let's just check that real quick, because if not, that's going to be a pain. I would assume that it's going to fit in there if I can make it work. Oh yeah, we're good. We don't want to smell that yet because I'm sure it's terrible. Let's see if we can't get this open. Okay. Oh, she's heavy. Yeah, not going to stay up just like I thought. We got a ruler, piece of wood, which I'm assuming is here for that reason, and just the bags for the T-tops. I'm going to get a prop for this and show you guys just how nice this thing is inside of here. It is crazy how nice this car is. Alright, this is what I'm talking about. The carpet in this thing looks brand new. This is the bag for the T-tops. There's not a speck of dirt in this car anywhere. It's a shame that the plastic has faded like this, as on both sides. But maybe we can find some paint and touch it up for them. Ooh, this is a cubby hole. Think there's anything in here? Let's find out. We got the stock gas cap. What else we got? AAA, Crawford County Automobile Club. Bucyrus and Crest sign. I think this car has lived its entire life. in my little town. Come on. Huh, it's a map of Ohio and West Virginia. Huh, that's crazy. Back when you had to use maps. That's it for inside there. That's cool that the gas cap came with it. That's really awesome. But yeah, I'm sure that we can find the paint to match that and doctor that up, because I did notice as well inside of here, maybe you can see, these panels in here are faded as well, just like that. So let's get you guys set up and let's get this hood open and show you the little Easter egg that I was talking about that I've never even seen was an option, or even knew was an option in these cars. All right, you guys ready for this? Because I know that I was not when I finally opened the hood. You recognize it yet? If you don't, that is a 2.5 Iron Duke 4-cylinder. Like I said, I had no idea that they even considered putting these in these cars. Obviously, I was wrong because they do, but I'm actually kind of excited. I think it's really cool that it has a 4-cylinder. You may not, obviously, because it's a muscle car, but that's awesome. A 4-cylinder and a Firebird? I keep wanting to call it a Camaro. It's not a Camaro, but I guess we're just going to dive right into it. First things first, we'll do some oil. We do have oil. Smells like a little bit of burnt. It's got plenty of time left in it though. That's not going to be an issue. What about trans fluid? See if there's anything on that. We do have trans fluid. Smells like trans fluid and not burnt, so that's another big plus. We ain't going to be able to see if the fan will turn the motor over because it's clutch fan. Maybe I'll get a wrench deeper down in there. Let me get lights set up and all that. And we'll see if we can't get a wrench down there on this thing, because I don't want to just throw a battery in it and try to just turn it over, because you can ruin flywheels and the teeth on the starters, and just not something I'm trying to do. So let me get a light in here so I can actually see what's going on and see if we can't get a bar on this thing. Okay, it's going to be too much of a pain to get down on the crank without jacking this thing up. So we're going to go for the alternator, which is another option you can do. It's a little more of a pain, just like it's being right now, just because you got to really put a bunch of tension on the belt. All right, it's going to be too much of a pain to get a ratchet on the crank pulley without jacking the car up. So we're going to go from the alternator pulley, which is something you can do. I just got a ratchet right literally on the nut, and we're going to try to tighten that instead of loosen it. That way we don't back that nut off. So see if the belt has enough tension to spin the crank over. Oh, did it spin that? Oh, it was kind of stuck at first, but it is turning it. See if we can't get a full 360 out of it. That is turning super easy, so that's either really bad or really good, because I'm not even feeling any compression. pretty easy, guys. Like one finger easy. I don't know. Well, I think next, I'll fight that out of there here in a second. I think we should throw this battery in this thing and see what happens. It's got oil, turns over. Let's just go for it, right? Right? All right, let's do it. Come on, get in there. Come on. All right, like I said, Zach did give me a brand new battery with it. Well, we got that going for us. Hopefully, this thing, hopefully it fires up, but I'm just thinking maybe I should try to take time before I turn that key on and find the fuel pump relay. Side note, side post terminals, the absolute worst thing in the world. Anyways, maybe I should take the time and find some way to turn the fuel pump off, because nobody knows what's even in that tank. And I'm sure it's not even close to good. Tighten the positive up here. Then we'll touch the negative and see what happens. Well, the headlight made some noise. Other than that, nothing. Let's go ahead and just wire it all the way up. Yeah, we got nothing else making noises. Once again, it's either good or bad. I am a little worried about the turning over real easy. All right, we have juice. Let's hop inside this thing and see if everything in there works. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm actually really excited about this car for some reason, and it's not even mine. Oh, I see a dome light already. That is awesome. Check that out. Huh. All right, let's see what we get. Well, I don't hear a fuel pump, but we got a fasten seatbelt light, the always annoying GM alarm. Got a radio? No? Off? Oh, it makes a little noise, but she's not happy. All of the gas, some of the battery, no oil pressure, no temp. Well, she's in park. Should we see if it cranks? Nothing. There it goes. Well, the tack works. That was a little anticlimactic for a second. Should we try the headlights? See if they actually flip up? I'll show you guys. Ready? Up, only one. Wah, wah. But it did come on, so that's a plus. It did go back down. All right, I think I might want to do a compression test on this just to see. Why not? You know what I mean? So let's get the old compression tester out, hook it up, and see what we can do. Before we get out and do a compression test, I figured we could go through the center console here, because I've looked in here, and me and this guy could have been friends. First things first, Randy Travis. I mean, yeah. Second thing, Aerosmith. Definitely. What else was that? Garth Brooks. Yeah, me and this guy, we're hanging out. For sure. We just got a bunch of matchboxes? Anyways, you know what I'm talking about. Oh, we got a lighter. What's the chances that thing works? Dang. Could you imagine not being used since 25 years ago, and then all of a sudden, boom, now you work. Anyways, and then we have probably the coolest, and I've never probably looked this cool in my life, the coolest sunglasses ever. I might have to wear these everywhere now. I'm just saying. What do you think? Anyways, oh, and just a cool old flashlight. Let's go up here and get this compression test done. Well, I got the plugs taken out, and if I gotta be honest, I don't think that these things were driven on, but maybe one time. There's one here that looks a little worse than the others. But also another clue is, see the alternator over there? There's a date on that thing. It says 9/4 of 2000. Now, if my math is correct on what all I'm thinking, the tag expires the 3rd month of 2001. This went in 9/4 of 2000. If it got a new alternator and new plugs at the end of the year, maybe, just maybe, this thing was parked at the end of the year in 2000 because it's too clean to be driven in the winters around here. This thing would be rotten. There'd be no floorboards in it. So I think this thing went to a shop, or he did it himself, at the end of the 2000 season. Alternator, plugs, parked it. That was the end of it. And it hasn't moved since, which is pretty cool. But anyways, now that those are out, I got the old Start-O-Matic hooked up, and I've got the compression gauge in cylinder 1. So let's see what number 1 has to offer. So far, not very good. We made it to 40. Let me check my hose down here and see if I can't get it any better. Let's try that again. We got to 70, and that's it. That's pretty good, right? Let's switch this over. Ooh. All right, let's see about cylinder number 2. I know you're not supposed to crank them that long, I don't believe, but it did make it to 120. It actually like 122. It took a bit, but it did get there. And can we blame it too much? It did sit for 25 years. All right, that's way better than the first cylinder. Let's move on to number 3. All right, number 3. Let's see what you got. Don't leave your arm on the blade of the alternator. Go. Well, it took long just like the other one, but this one we're at, I'd say 110. Still better than the first cylinder. And like I said, I do know you're not supposed to, I think it's 5 cranks you're supposed to give them to get a true, like what it really is. But hey, what are we gonna do here? She's been sitting for a bit. She needs to come back alive. All right, let's see about number 4. All right, number 4, don't leave your arm on the alternator once again. Go. About the same, right at 100. I'm gonna put it back in this first one and let it crank for a bit and see if it can build up as much as the other ones. All right, if we let her crank, she stops right under 120, which I'm okay with. All right, let's get these plugs back in here, and maybe, since I know the fuel pump isn't working, maybe we'll shoot some starting fluid in there and just see what happens. Well, I know this isn't the best thing for it, but I just want to see. This will let me know if we got spark and all that. I ain't gonna run it long. I just want to know if it's gonna run the way it sits now. I went ahead and jacked up the rear end because I never trust these things, and you just never know. It'd be a shame to run this really nice car into all of that over there. So let's give this thing a snort and see what she's gonna do. All right, fire in the hole. There's no way it's always just that easy. Anyways, let's go again just because I want to hear it again. One more. That is crazy. And I have a camera back there. I don't know if it smoked or not. That is insane. Why are they so easy? Recently. It's not always going to be this way. Not always going to be this way. All right. I say we look into fuel pump. What's going on there? That is awesome. It didn't even sound that bad. And I did hear when I was cranking it over doing the compression check, I heard oil running around in there. So that is awesome. All right. I think for tonight, that's going to do it for me because I got to be up early again. And it's probably 9 o'clock already. But yeah, I will let Zach know that we possibly need a fuel pump, all of that good stuff. And then we'll get into doing that. So I will see you guys in the morning. Well, before I call it completely quits for the night, I figured I might as well see what other parts I'm going to need. And for a test drive, we're definitely going to need brakes. So figured I would go ahead and pop this off of here and see what's in here before. Oh, okay. That's a plus. Before I go ahead and I want to be able to order parts if I need them. That's what I'm trying to say. Let's get in here and hit the brake pedal and see what happens with this. Hard as a rock. Not too sure if it's frozen or what's going on. It moved a little and then it didn't. I'm not sure. Either way, that looked like it worked. It did move a little. Maybe the pedal is just hard now. I'm not sure. Either way, I'll probably go ahead and get a master cylinder on the way, and then we'll get a fuel pump on the way because this is not working and the relay is clicking. Hopefully the inside of the tank isn't completely destroyed, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there tomorrow. So see you then. All right, guys, it is the next day, and Zach showed up with a little care package. We got a new fuel pump, the strainer for it, and everything to do an oil change on this thing. I'm not going to do an oil change just yet, and that's only because I want to get this thing running and let it come up to temperature at least once. That way all of the sludge and stuff that's in this motor will have a chance to wash down into the pan, and then we'll change the oil after the first heat cycle. So I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to get this thing jacked up, put it up on stands, and get this tank dropped out of this thing. It's kind of going to be a pain in the butt. If any of you know anything about these 3rd gen Camaros, you might have to drop the exhaust because it's right in the way, so we can get the tank out of there. So not only do we got to drop the tank, we also have to drop the exhaust. So ain't nothing to it but to do it. So I'm going to get this thing jacked up on stands, and I'll catch you guys under there. All right, under the car, some things I've noticed. Definitely needs a pinion seal, and the diff cover is seeping, so maybe we'll address that. We'll talk to Zach about that as well. Other things, this is the muffler, and we'll have to drop the exhaust because right above this, gas tank. So I'm gonna try an attempt. I'm gonna drop the 2 hangers. There's a hanger over here and a hanger on that side. Maybe it'll drop down far enough to let me slip the tank out. I'm not confident in that at all. But if I have to take it off, I'm not going to try to disconnect it all the way to the front because it's one piece from right here all the way up to the front. What I'm going to honestly probably do is I'll end up cutting it right here where it's straight, and then I'll buy a coupler, and then I'll just weld it back together. Nobody will ever know, and it'll work just as good. Also, I'm going to say now, this tank isn't no good, only because I think you guys can see right here this dark spot. There's several of those dark spots, and it looks like to me that is gas, really old gas that has leaked through the tank. Because there's a couple of spots up here that are hard to film, and they just start from nowhere, and then they just looks like they have ran down the side of the tank. So I'm gonna be hopeful still. Tank's still good. Maybe that's from something else. Not sure. But regardless, we just gotta do it. So, like I said, drop the exhaust, a couple hangers. There's a heat shield right here. Get that out of the way. Just 4 tiny bolts, and then 2 gas tank straps. And we'll drop this thing down and see how she looks. Yay. Thank God. Oh, nailed it, finally. Well, I have never struggled that much ever to get a gas tank out of a car. But keep on moving. To get this sending unit out of here, there's just a lock ring here that you have to take a hammer and a chisel, or a hammer and a pry bar, and just knock this ring back, and then that ring will come right out of there. Then we can get the sending unit out of here. And I can already tell you now the smell is pretty bad because I had to take the gas cap off to get this thing out. So I already knew that going into this, but it's going to be real bad. So let me just hammer on this thing for the next 10 minutes and get this ring out of here. See how she looks. Just like that. You get that ring out of there, and be prepared to smell really bad gas, even though I already do. Should wiggle. Oh my. Oh my. Well, guys, that is every indication as to what this tank looks like on the inside. It is not good. The fuel pump is actually rotted off of the sending unit because the fuel line was that bad. Yeah, there's no saving this tank, unfortunately. This stuff is, well, she's thick to say the least. So I'll have to put a word in Zach's ear. This wire is even just eat away to nothing. Wow. That is real bad. I guess I'll have to put a little bug in Zach's ear, see what he wants to do. I can't even get this back in there. Yeah, that's real bad. So either way, we have a pump, and we can get a 5-gallon bucket and wire that up to get this thing running for now, but definitely going to need a tank and a sending unit, unfortunately. So I'll get a hold of Zach, and then we'll just keep on moving forward with this thing and see what we're going to do next. Well, I talked to Zach, and he did order a tank and a sending unit for this car, but it is also the holiday season, so getting things is a little slow right now. The tank will be here next week sometime, and we'll have to get it in there then. But I did just go and pick up stuff to make a homemade fuel cell. So got me a brand new bucket with a lid that has the rubber seal in it. So when you put this on here, it's actually tight. A whole bunch of hose. This is the fuel pump that he bought. And then just some hose clamps. So my plan is take the fuel pump, put the hose on it, put it in here. We'll poke a hole in the lid just big enough for the line to fit in. Dunk this down in the gas that we're going to put in there. And then I'll cut up the wires that are on the old sending unit. That way we don't have to cut any of the harness for the car. I'll just wire this directly into the plug that's on this junk sending unit. And the way it all just plugs in. And we're not wasting anything. We're not ruining anything. I just want to get this car running and hopefully drive it. So yeah, I'm going to go out because I put that tank outside because it smells real bad. I'll go cut the wires off of it, and then we'll get to making a fuel cell out of a 5-gallon bucket and some hose. Well, guys, this is literally all it is. I cut the wires off of the tank outside because the new one will come with new wires. Drilled a hole in this that's smaller than the hose, and I just shoved the wires through the same hole. It all fits really snug, and then down here, boom, just the pump hanging down in there with the sock on it, good as gold. And then you just take this here, plug it right in the car turns it on. There is a return line on this car, but I'm not going to hook it up and point it in here just yet. I'm going to put a piece of rubber on it, and I'll put it in a drain pan because I kind of want to hot wire the relay to let this pump run for a minute and kind of wash out the lines, because if it's that bad in the tank, the lines are not going to be very good either. We also might have to take the injector out and clean it up. So first things first, let's hook that up to the lines and see if we can even pump some gas through this thing and get them lines cleaned out first thing. So up here on the firewall, we got our fuel pump relay, and then this here is the plug that plugs into it. Now, I've done a little research, and the brown wire on this side, which is the center one, this one right here in the middle, I just got some red wire hooked up to the positive side, got a little strip back, and I'm just going to poke it in there, and that should turn on the pump, and then we can go back there and we should see, hopefully, fuel running into that container. So I'm going to do that real quick. And just like that, we've got some not so good fuel. I mean, it's definitely clearing up already, but I'm going to let that run for a second. Just like that, it's almost clean. That is a huge, huge plus. I'm going to let that run for just a little bit though. And then we'll hook it up and see what happens. Nice. Okay, that is all put together now and actually sitting in the trunk. I ran the return line up in here as well. And I wanted it in there. And I know this looks silly, but I wanted it up in there because I'd still like to take this thing for a test drive if we can. And with just go ahead and making it to fit in there, that's just another step ahead. Still unsure about brakes and maybe a few other things. But in all reality, we should be able to turn this key on. We can even try to start it out here so we can watch the injector. As long as that injector fires, this thing should start and run because we're getting fuel up here. It's returning. Yeah. It's going to be louder than what it was previously because we've cut the exhaust off of it. But let me get you guys on a tripod, and then we'll get a key on this thing, and we'll hit this trigger and see what happens. All right, like I said, let's just turn this key on and see what happens. Key on. We're in park. It should, in theory. Make sure my wires aren't going to melt on the exhaust here for my key switch. Let's just see what happens. Maybe. Is it squirting? One more time. It is squirting. It wants it. Maybe it needs a little throttle, maybe? I'm not sure. Or is it just flooding it really bad? Okay, we got throttle. Yeah. Come on, you can do it. It's definitely squirting in there. I don't know. Guess we just keep trying. It seems to like it when I give it fuel. It might be spraying too much, but the injector is pulsing, so I don't know how it could be too much. Maybe it is too much. I'm not sure. Keep trying. Huh? There she is. Make sure we got oil pressure. We got 50 pounds of oil pressure. Battery's charging. The RPMs are at like 800. Oh, we're settling down. Lots of smoke. And that's just off the exhaust. It's a little smoky. Sounds good though. We're sitting at like 1800 RPM. Not too sure what that's about. It does sound really good though. Maybe we just let it sit here and run for a minute and see what happens. This thing is running awesome. I'm just gonna let it sit here and run for a while and see what happens. But so far, doing good. Well, it's been another minute or two. Like I was saying, it is louder now. I'm sure you guys can hear that, but the idle is slowly coming down. And I've actually had a few of these 2.5s before, and usually when the idle is so high, it's the idle air control valve. They're known for sticking real bad on these, but we're down to, I don't know, what do you say, 1300 RPM, 1250. Temp gauge hasn't maybe started moving a little, but still got all the gas. Oil pressure is still doing good, still charging. So far, so good. Like I said, I'd like to let this thing come up to temperature, see what that does for us. How about we try the brake now that we got a little bit of booster action? See what happens here. I don't know, they go down. Oh, the more I push them, the more they seem to work. Should we try to put it in gear? Oh. Now off the brake. On the brake. Brakes are not the best. Neutral. Do we have drive? Go right in. Brakes seem to be working on the back at least. That's awesome. Well, as long as this thing doesn't overheat and do anything crazy, I got to put that panhard bar back on the rear end. I take this thing for a little test drive and just see what happens. First time on the road in 25 years. That would be awesome. This is the first time it went in gear in 25 years, and it went right in. It's even better. Well, like I said, I'm gonna let this thing sit here, warm up, then we'll change the oil, try to hit the road, see what happens. Well, I let this thing sit here and run for a little while longer. The temp gauge never did end up coming up. So I did call the parts store, and they have the sensor in stock, and it's only $20. So I'm gonna go ahead and swap that out here shortly. And the reason I know that the gauge is bad, this thing definitely come up to temperature. I mean, it's hot. And the gauge never come up above 100 degrees. Now, just like the last video, if you watched the last video with the S10, we had the same situation. The gauge wasn't working. And I had found out that if you ground out the wire that runs back to the gauge, if you ground that out, it should peg out the temperature gauge all the way to hot. And I did that with this, and it did the same thing. So that tells you that the gauge is working, and it also tells you that the wire from here all the way into the gauge is good. So therefore, there's only one thing left in that equation, and that's the sensor. So we'll get that swapped out. But I need to climb underneath the back of this thing and get the panhard bar bolted back up in, because I had to take that out to drop the gas tank, which, terrible design in these cars. If you guys ever have to do a gas tank in one of these, just be prepared. They're not easy. We can get this out of here as well. The exhaust is probably still boiling hot, so this would be nice, because the key does work. These things are lifesavers when you're by yourself and you need to be out here and you don't have anybody to help you. But yeah, there's not much else left to do to this thing to get her on the road. We can get this air cleaner lid back on. I'm gonna give the idle air control valve a chance to just come back by itself before I go messing with it. If it doesn't come back around, then we'll look into it. But it also could be a vacuum leak somewhere. So I'll give it a chance to come back. It has been sitting for 25 years, so the likelihood of it being a vacuum leak is also probably pretty good. But yeah, I'm gonna climb underneath the back of this thing and get that panhard bar back in. And we're gonna drop this thing down and probably hit the road with it. Well, nope, we gotta do that temp sensor, and I've got to clean that windshield. I cannot see out of it at all. So I will be back once I have the sensor. I gotta run across town and grab it. And some window cleaner, because I'm also out of that. So I'll be back. All right, I got that sensor swapped out. It's as simple as literally unthreading it, threading the new one in, and then sliding a wire on the terminal there. Easy peasy. I haven't checked it yet to see if it's working, but we'll find out here shortly. I picked up some glass cleaner and cleaned the windshield. Not the best. It's still real streaky. You can see the streaks in there. It definitely still needs some steel wool taken to it. I mean, this is what it used to look like. So regardless, we're doing good. But yeah, I'm going to get this thing fired up, and we'll see if we can't make her down the road, maybe around the block. I've shut the hatch, and all I did was take a piece of wood and laid a piece of wood right there so that way it couldn't latch all the way. And it's holding it open just enough so that our wires and our fuel lines don't get pinched. So we're not going fast here. We're just trying to go around the block, see if all the gears and the transmission work, yada, yada, yada. Oh, and the temp gauge. So that'd be cool. I guess we can see if the heat works, because it's like 30 degrees outside right now. I hate winter. Anyways, let's get the thing fired up and try to go around the block in her. All right, let's see how this goes. Starts up like it should. Buzzer goes away. Still idling high, but we'll have to figure that out. Now, are the brakes gonna hold us? We're holding, and we're moving. Nice. What about forward? Oh yeah. Let's pull this thing out. I can't see nothing out of that back window at all. Definitely should have cleaned that up. All right. Oh, we don't have power steering. Let me check that real quick. I don't know. It's full. I just tried to push the clutch in. Nice. All right. Must just need a pump. It's no big deal. Man, I can't see nothing out of this car. Probably should have cleaned more than just the windshield. All right. So far, so good. We probably ain't gonna be breaking no speed records, because the tires on this have also been sitting for 25 years. All right. I have a blinker, and it works. Temp gauge hasn't moved yet. Still at roughly 50 psi of oil. All right, see how many gears this thing's got. Oh, first, second, third. Man, you guys are shaking all over the place. These tires are so flat spotted. It's so weird hearing a 4-cylinder noise come from this car. And everything seems fine other than these tires are terrible. Temp gauge still hasn't moved. I can't see nothing on the back of this thing. That is crazy. Oh, maybe the temp gauge is moving. I'll let you know. It looks like it might have moved a little. Ooh. Still only one headlight comes up though. We have a left turn signal is flashing. Oh, we're forgetting something. The glasses that came with it. Yeah. Should we see if the heat works? Let's see. Vent, fan. Oh, we have a fan. Heat works. Imagine that. And the temp gauge is coming up. That's awesome. This thing's like it just was taken off the road yesterday. Man, these are weird. Everything's pink. This thing is cool. You guys have to drop some comments down below, though. The owner of it has said that he wants me to pull the 4-cylinder out and put a V8 in this car. And I know it's a sports car, but it's so cool. And like I said, I've never seen one, and everybody I've talked to is like, oh, I've heard about them, but I've never seen one. I can't bring myself to tear this apart for him, because he was asking me if I wanted to do a little build on it for him, and I don't think I can do it. Anyways, I'm gonna head back to the house, and everything seems fine. We'll move on to the next thing in line. See you back at the shop. This thing is so cool. Even with its one headlight winking at you. This thing is awesome. Zach, don't tear this car up. Oh. Well, obviously, we made it back. It didn't overheat. Zero issues. Tires are so bad. But thankfully, the guy who owns this car owns a tire shop in my town. So it's his problem, right? Well, I don't know how a test drive could go any better than that. I'm super pleased with everything. Zero hiccups. I mean, really the only thing that it really needs right now is tires and of course the gas tank put back in it. But transmission worked. Everything worked just like it should. Can't be mad at it. I'm actually impressed. For 25 years, just sitting and then just come back to life that easy. That's impressive. But this is the part of the video where I'm going to ask for your guys' help or opinion or whatever you want to call it. I had mentioned on the drive that the owner of this car wants a muscle car-ish. He wants something he can get in and do burnouts. He owns a tire shop and he wants to use it for tire promotion stuff and stuff like that. But I've kind of convinced him a little bit that he shouldn't tear this car up just because I think it's cool. I mean, nobody else might not think it's cool, but to me, it's really cool. Never seen one, and I think they're kind of rare. But there is some options that we can do with this 4-cylinder. I've seen a guy take a Marine 2.5 and, well, he put a head from a Marine motor on a regular 2.5. Anyways, we could throw a turbo on this. They make aftermarket cams for this. There's options. We just need to get this thing to do cool burnouts. And I think he'd be happy with it. I'm not against doing a 5-speed swap on this. We can get all Camaro stuff and make it work and fit right in this car, and we don't have to hack anything up. Yes, it's not original after that, but it still has the 4-cylinder in it, and to me, that's really cool. But like I was saying, I just drop a comment down below. What do you guys think? If it was your car, if it was this nice, what would you do with it? Would you keep the 4-cylinder in it, or would you just gut it, put a V8 in it, call it good? That way you can do burnouts. I know that you can make plenty of power out of a 4-cylinder, and plenty enough to do burnouts in this thing. It doesn't weigh much of anything, and to be able to do a burnout in this wouldn't take very much anyways. So drop a comment down below. Should we convince him or try to convince him to either keep the 4-cylinder, list options on what you guys think we should do with it, all that good stuff. I think for this video, this is going to do it. This video is already getting pretty long. I've never even uploaded a video past like 40 minutes, I don't think. Anyways, next video, I'm not sure if it's going to be this car or if it's going to be the S10. For the S10, I really want to paint it. The camo is just not me. I've got leftover flat black from when we did the Falcon, so it's either clean this thing up, get the tank in it, because the tank will be here this coming up Tuesday, and I'll be able to get the tank back in it, get this thing the rest of the way cleaned up. I talked to Zach about getting some different wheels and tires for it, because obviously we're going to need those. And then I kind of want to take a buffer to this thing and really clean it up. Obviously we'll get the windows and stuff cleaned up. But yeah, not sure what I'm doing next. Guess you'll find out when I upload next Sunday. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this thing. I had a lot of fun getting it back on the road. After 25 years, that's pretty cool. And for it to just be as simple as it was is even cooler. So let me know what you guys thought. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, like, comment, all the stuff. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.